On the campaign trail, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz praised the release of the Americans, but said Iran never should have held them to begin with. As Julianna Goldman reports, that's about all the Republican frontrunners can agree upon these days.
Here we go. Climbing out of a stuck elevator, Ted Cruz laughed off the possibility that a certain candidate is conspiring against him.
Who put Donald Trump in charge of the elevators?
It was a brief moment of levity in the snowballing feud between the two leading Republican candidates, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, that has turned nasty and personal.
It seems Donald has a lot of nervous energy.
Just 10 minutes earlier in South Carolina, Cruz seemed to be taunting the GOP frontrunner, chiding him for unleashing a Twitter rant against Cruz that began early Saturday morning. Trump raised questions about whether Cruz's Canadian birth disqualifies him from being president, the Texas senator's ties to Wall Street, and his dismissal of New York values.
I think in terms of a commander-in-chief, we ought to have someone who isn't springing out of bed to tweet in a frantic response to the latest polls.
Because a lot of people do not like Ted, to put it mildly.
In New Hampshire, Trump said he's getting under Cruz's skin.
So as it turned out, he finally went off the wagon a little bit and went a little crazy.
With the two insurgent GOP rivals battling it out, the race for an establishment Republican pick is also heating up. In Iowa, Marco Rubio was battling on all fronts, alleging Christie's policies were like President Obama's, and calling out Trump and Cruz, saying anger alone isn't enough to be president.
The Democratic race has also entered a more antagonistic phase as polls in Iowa and New Hampshire have tightened considerably and show Bernie Sanders as a real threat to Clinton in both states. Jim, they'll square off in South Carolina tomorrow night, the first Democratic debate in the new year and the last before the Iowa caucuses.
Julianna Goldman covering for us tonight in our Washington newsroom. Thank you.